Hey, TikTok. I decided I got a little quiet moment, and I decided I want to read a little bit. I'm going to just pick up something random because we were talking, about the loss. And one of these things here, I says different things, like what I went through. It says, many days as I sat on my mother's porch and daydreamed of each of my sons walking towards her house. It was a field of grass across from her home, and sometimes it truly hurted my heart because after my daydreaming, I had to acknowledge and accept I will never see them anymore walk across that field and certain people or be with certain people and places. Therefore, there will be times you may feel you cannot fully express your emotions. The hurtful emptiness of losing your child as a murder victim always linger inside of the mother's heart, and probably the father's too. I can only speak about mothers. And I also ended that chapter where I said, in the mother's heart, and it says the myth about, and that myth about how the child supposed to, the child buried a parent actually, but here go the other one say, when a parent loses a child to violence is very different than losing a child from natural death because it's so unexpected and it come into our life at any given time, so unexpected. And also, like if a child have a chronic illness disease, we kind of can almost know when the end is coming, kind of, and only God knows the exact same date, hour, and all that. But I'm just saying, our children left out the door full of life, and before before nightfall or whatever, a couple hours later, we got to hear that our children is gone forever. Now that's a hurt piece. As parents, we always have the belief that our children will outlive us. On May 11, 2001 was my first acknowledgement that life doesn't always go as we expect it to. And afterwards, I experienced losing all three of my sons. I was surely convinced then that it doesn't always end with the myth of a child living longer than a parent. And that's sad because that's happening so much now. That's happening so much with what's going on, and it's sad because I didn't even know. The first funeral I went to was 1968. I was 8 years old at my grandma's funeral. I seen my mom crying and everything, but I tried to cry. I couldn't want me crying, but I know if you never experienced losing a loved one, I was too young to realize. I know I would miss my grandmother during the holidays, but I didn't feel that pain when my mother felt. And somebody could be sitting right by you, and when you sitting on that front bench or whatever, they don't feel it. And a lot of times people don't know what to say during that funeral or that wake time. You be like a robot like this because everybody come by. Only thing they know to say is, "I'm sorry for your loss." But at the end of the day, being that you're in a twilight zone, I call it twilight zone in my book, and I still always will call it between disbelief and reality hitting you at the same time, twilight zone. And I call it a fog zone, is that like 3 weeks later or 2 weeks when you look in their room and they ain't no longer coming back to the room, and you'll find their wardrobe, their shoes, the shirt or the coat and all. It took me 2 years before I even cleaned out my third son's room with his things in it. I just couldn't do it. And when I think back on him, my third son at 13, he had already lost 2 brothers and also a close cousin. So it's a lot of times when these things happen, all the grown-ups get together, and we express our feelings, and you can see how we feel. But when there's children involved, those children be hurting too. So I know I went to help one family one time to help get the funeral arrangements together, and a little boy was setting off in the next room, and I my attention just went to him. So I had to go and I talked with him to see how he was feeling, because see, my son, my third son, he stuffed all of that inside of him about his 2 brothers, and it was just everybody don't take the grief the same way. I mean, our grieving process, nobody can tell you, oh, it's been a long time. You need to stop crying. How dare you? It's no time limit on grief when you start and when you end. And for me, I think it always will be a part of my life because they were a part of my life, you know? And I don't believe that, I think God will help me I know God will help me get through every day, but I believe that I will never forget it. And I don't want to forget it. All we got left is memories, everyone. And we got to cherish those memories. The good, the bad, the ugly, the nice. All of that means something once they gone. You know, we got pictures. And we do all kind of different things. But this is what I always told people when I gave a lead, because this is what God put in my heart too. And I know it's a true fact, is that it ain't no certain way to grieve. It ain't no time limit to grieve. And everybody don't grieve the same. But I feel it's all good as long as you're not hurting yourself or planning to hurt someone else. Because God did say all vengeance was his. And I take that to the bank. You know what I mean? So I just want to tell you that you can get through this thing. You can. It ain't going to be easy. But as long as you ask God, sometimes you might walk through in your day, your mind get filled up. You just say within yourself, inwardly, God, give me peace of mind. Give me peace of mind. Because grief can hit you at any time. It's like we don't know what time the lightning gonna strike. Basically, I can use that for excuse. But when it strike, it strike. You know? So I think I will be bringing little different things out of this book. And maybe a little bit every day. I think I'm going to pray about it. But I'm just saying, we always thought that our children would bury us, but now society at large proved, and I know for a fact, that's no longer true. So I just wish that everyone could, you don't have to grieve alone. You do not have to grieve alone, because losing a loved one is a terrible thing, and especially if it's your child. Especially if it's your child. And I believe that God kind of warned us about things. God don't let nothing just come in. If you think back, when you think back towards the end, God lets you feel something before it even happened. Because God never sleeps. And I just know my second son, when he had got shot, and everybody was in the room crying, oh, God, please. But God had put in my spirit to pray for his soul. Because my mother always said, my mother said, always tell me, as long as you got breath in your body, you can ask God for mercy, and he can give it to you. Just like remember Jesus on the cross with the other two men? At the last moment, the one, he believed. The other one didn't believe. So that one, all of them, they had lived a reckless life. But just with that last moment, while the breath was still in his body, he believed. And Jesus said, I think today you shall be with me in paradise. If I'm wrong, y'all could correct it, but I'm just saying, I'm in the area of what I'm talking about. So I just thank God, because I told my son Dawn, I said, if you ever be on the street, you feel your life going away, ask God to have mercy upon your soul. And I know the ambulance driver told me a year later, I said, did he say anything? And he said, well, when we was going across the bridge near the hospital, it sounded like he was gurgling something. But then that feeling of peace came over me because he remembered what I said. And I was reluctant to tell him, but I told him a month ahead of time. We was passing Kennywood Park, and I told him that. And he just soaked it in. He ain't say nothing. But when that guy told me that my son gurgled something, that wasn't a gurgle. God gave me a confirmation that he remembered what I said. And he asked God for mercy. And I know God could give anybody mercy. Because, see, God look inwardly. We can do a lot on the outside, but God know your inside and out better than you even know yourself. So with that, I just want to say, I appreciate you all. I hope you listen and pass it on to somebody else. And like I said, if you want me to share something in the book, inbox me on Facebook. And if you think it's okay, a good decision, and maybe read a little bit, at least a couple times a week, inbox me and tell me. Because there's a lot in this book. I can't wait to get it published. I cannot wait. But God got his time for everything. And now is the time to move on this, and I'm grateful. We at the beginning opening the door for it, and I'm so happy. So that was a little bit of something I wanted to put on to this today. Thank you all, and God bless you, and don't give up. Give out? Yes.